Anna from London by London, and today we are in one of London's oldest markets. This is Leadenhall Market. Now this year it's actually celebrating its 700th anniversary. Can you believe it? 700 years of a market in this location. Now I think that someone told me that this market might have featured in Harry Potter, that there are loads of historical traders and some weird little stories to tell about the market. So without me talking further, let's go and discover. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Sue Cloak. I'm the director at Cheese at Leadenhall Market, and we are in beautiful Leadenhall Market now. Cheese at Leadenhall has been in the market now for over 15 years, and we're basically an independent cheese and wine business.
And Leadenhall is currently celebrating its 700th anniversary. And so can you tell me a bit about the history and how it's evolved over time?
Sure. So as you say, Leadenhall dates back, we think, to roughly 1321. So yes, as you say, we are celebrating 700 years, which is a remarkable length of time in any sort of situation. In London, not so much, because obviously, London itself dates back very, very long time. But Leadenhall has been here in various different sort of styles for many, many years. Originally, it's all been about food, to be honest, which is great when we're obviously a food business here, but it's all been about food, predominantly meat and poultry and game in particular. First market was recorded in 1321 when Sir Hugh Neville owned what was known as the Manor of Leadenhall, which actually had a leaden roof, hence its name. And it became quite a sort of boisterous market, as you can imagine, a lot of sort of butchers and poultry people buying and selling, and it became quite an interesting, flamboyant, busy, messy area at that sort of time. We are going back to the sort of 14th century now. The Lord Mayor at the time was Richard Dick Whittington, obviously a very famous historical character, who very kindly gave Leadenhall Market to be looked after by the City of London Corporation, and they are still looking after it to this day.
And are there any notable figures associated with the market?
Well, I assume you're not talking about our loyal customers. I think you're talking about lots of other people associated with Leadenhall Market. So I'd probably like to pick out maybe a couple. One is obviously that Leadenhall Market has been used for lots of different filmings over the years. Probably the most famous is our friend Harry Potter. And as you're aware, Harry Potter is so popular with all generations now. And it was the very first Harry Potter film that was actually filmed here. And if you just go around the corner, you can actually see where they actually enter Diagon Alley. It's very, very famous. And if you look into the sort of first couple of shots, you can literally see the different colours, the bottle green and the burgundy colours that are associated more with Leadenhall Market. Apart from Harry Potter, Leadenhall Market was also featured in quite a recent film, which is Hereafter, directed by Clint Eastwood. And myself and a colleague were lucky enough to actually be extras in that film.
Ooh.
So that was actually thrilling, and took up a lovely Saturday afternoon actually. And it is quite surreal to be looking around Leadenhall Market with all its sort of beauty and historical combinations and associations, and suddenly see Clint Eastwood walking down our cobbled street, followed by the sort of stars of the show.
So you mentioned some colourful characters. Pray tell.
Okay, well, like this is somebody I mustn't forget. So this we have a story around here about Old Tom. Old Tom was a goose, and many geese. We've talked about the fact this is a poultry market. Sadly, came to an end when they came here. But actually, Old Tom escaped. So he actually lived to be nearly 38 years old, which in any situation is impressive. And he used to congregate mainly around the Lamb Tavern, which again has been around here for many, many, many years. Goes back, I think, to 1880. So, and it's very much the central part. And he was fed by the local pubs and the local restaurants as well. So, but the thing is, he survived to tell the story, and it's an amazing story. And you will see little references to Old Tom around Leadenhall Market when you next visit.
Wonderful. And what about the current structure? Who designed it, and did they design any other famous London buildings?
Well, the current structure, I think, has changed over the years quite considerably, and it's had to with the times and so on. My understanding is that going back to what it was actually used for, so think about the meat, the poultry and so on, it became quite a big sort of food market, but a little bit boisterous, a little bit untidy, a little bit messy, and that's that sort of trade for you. So Horace Jones was actually a very famous architect at that time, was asked to design a slightly more respectable arcade.
This is the City of London, after
This
all.
is the City of London. So this is actually a respectable arcade. And it became more of a structured poultry market in particular. But it was also known to sell grocery items, cheese items, and I know for a fact that a lot of the territorial cheeses from all the counties of the UK sort of came down from the north in particular, and the southwest were all congregated here and then went out again to supply local businesses, local dignitaries and so on. So these are the old territorial cheeses, things like the Cheshires, the Cheddars, the Stiltons, those sort of cheeses. So that was a great association. And this was reformed in the 19th century. And he also designed Smithfield Market,
Love it.
Billingsgate Market, and Tower Bridge. So we went slightly off-brand, off the markets areas. But two amazing markets, and obviously Leadenhall Market, all very different as well, because this I think is more of an arcade style rather than trading market. But if you look up to the various units that we have here now, you can still see the hooks where all the poultry was originally hung up. And it actually was sort of fairly recent that meat, for example, was still traded here in actual fact. There was a redevelopment in 1990, and all these units here were in fact butchers. My unit at number 4 was in fact a butchery company. They then went back to Smithfield and are trading there now. And so the place now is a lot more kind of to do with al fresco dining, more of a leisure situation. There's many restaurants, there's many bars, there's many independent retailers, some favourite shops, some known shops, but also the essence is very much on independent retailing, really.
And what should people come for?
I think it's just a very, very unusual place. It's a unique building for a start. The amount of people that come here then start looking up, and you do look up and you see the structure of the place, the colour, the design, the statues, the detail is absolutely amazing. It's just it's a very, very interesting place. I think it's quite a relaxing place, but everything is unique here. It's not like something's just been fabricated for the sake of a new mall. This is a very, very old, 700 years in fact, market, and it's still a very nice place to be. I know right now the city is coming back to life again. People are meeting each other here. There's lots of things to do while you're here, and it's a relaxed atmosphere. And if you look around the city, there's lots and lots of brand new buildings going up even as we speak. And then you just come to Leadenhall and it's just the most amazing sort of historical area of London, and it's still a trading market really. I'd like to think it of that as well.